Man, we're back here on the platform DFW podcast. Man, shout out to my guy, 2026 running back, Trey Mosley, who stopped by today. But listen, we're going to talk about a couple of games that we were at last week. And then, hey, the next week we got even bigger games. But listen, we'll start on Thursday with the North Crowley taking on Lancaster. The Panthers welcomed in the Tigers. And this was a great game. 22-18 was the final score. The Lancaster Tigers were very, very impressive defensively. James Foster, Lovey Berry, each had interceptions on the night. Two top DBs in the DFW area that you need to know about. Lovey Berry's a senior, and Foster's an up-and-coming underclassman. But the story of the night was the big plays by Hayden Green and, of course, Demarion Mays at the wide receiver position, catching a couple of touchdown passes from Hayes Cloutier. These guys got it done. Shout out to Coach Gates, who got the win, and the guys over there at North Crowley. They move on to a big one this week, and we'll talk about that one shortly. The second game we went to, South Oak Cliff and North Shore, two battle-tested programs, state championship pedigree. Of course, the South Oak Cliff Golden Bears have come back to possibly head to a fifth straight state title game appearance. They've been 4 times, won 2, lost 2. They come out with a big victory over North Shore, who's one of the top-ranked teams in the 6A division, coming into the 2025 season 41-31. It was a masterful performance in the trenches for the Golden Bears. 2 rushers over 100 yards, and Mikael Trotter, Levon Morton. Jalen Morton had 3 touchdown passes from junior quarterback Jaden Williams. Listen, this is a guy you need to get your eyes on. This is a guy you need to pull up on. He was able to make big plays with the passing game. He has the arm strength to push the ball outside the numbers when it comes to making the big plays. I liked his composure, his ability to step up in the pocket and make big throws at crucial times. Now, from the flip side, listen, North Shore's not going to be a team that goes away. Of course, this is a tough loss for those guys out in the first game of the year. But Caleb Maryland, the senior quarterback, was phenomenal. He had a big touchdown rushing. Definitely set this tone for those guys offensively in the passing game. With his ability to make plays. He was under duress the entire night, of course, from Corday Houston and those guys up front. A linebacker that we want to talk about definitely from the South Oak Cliff defense is Cody Smith. His first time making a start as a sophomore. This is a guy that you're going to need to know in that death row defense over the next couple of years. He stepped up on all the tackles just about. His ability to run sideline to sideline, his composure as a sophomore stepping into a big game. Out of the gate, Cody Smith is a linebacker you need to know, 5'10", 190 pounds. He's going to be one of those guys to make his name in that death row defense in the next coming years and definitely this season for sure. I think that South Oak Cliff, we're going to talk about their big game this week as well, taking on Duncanville. But I think that South Oak Cliff set the tone this season with the big win and coming out in 2025, establishing themselves as a team that you need to know about. We definitely know that these guys are going to have something to say when it comes to 5A Division II and making a big playoff run. Well, shout out to the South Oak Cliff Golden Bears who got the victory 41-31. Out west in Aledo, they take care of business against Denton Guyer 21-14. Great contest of defense. Caden Wingfield rushed for 89 yards and 2 touchdowns to set the pace for the Aledo Bearcats. Up north a little bit, Argyle takes a loss to Frisco Lone Star in a big victory. Listen, there's a 2028 quarterback that you guys need to know about. His name is Trey Wright. Now, he's one of those guys that's a dynamic runner, a dynamic passer. He got the ball to Carice Hoyt and Davion Gross. These guys are going to be a team in 5A Division I that you need to know about, not just in the DFW area, but definitely in the state. And Trey Wright, the sophomore quarterback, got it done. This is a guy that you need to know about. Prosper also got a big victory over Westlake to set the tone for the season. Listen, the Prosper Eagles are very, very good. This is a team that has some of the best linemen that you'll find in the country. Of course, Texas A&M commit Zayden Crimping is one of those guys that you need to know about as well. But Bryce Robinson, the running back, set the tone. 159 yards and a touchdown, almost 6 yards a carry behind that big offensive line. He's going to be a guy that you need to know about as well. Walnut Grove got a big victory as well, 70-7. Hayes Hackney had a great game, the sophomore quarterback, over 200 yards, a couple touchdowns. We've got to talk about Cam Newton. This is one of those guys in the 2026 class here in the state of Texas, definitely DFW, that you need to know about. He is phenomenal. He can throw it He can run it well. He can, do his thing in the passing game for Walnut Grove. And he's a guy that you definitely need to know about in the 2026 class in the DFW area. 191 yards, 2 touchdowns to get the victory for Walnut Grove. Now, we're going to talk about some of these teams and, big wins that'll be coming up. But listen, we got to talk about the DeSoto Eagles going down to Georgia and having a tough loss to Creekside. Now, last year, Creekside came to Texas, and DeSoto put it on them and throttled them 70-0. But this time, Creekview returned the favor, and they put up a 70-piece, and the Eagles fall. But I said that to say the Eagles got a big game this week. They can't rest on that. I know that they will be ready to play when they come to the west side of things, to Fort Worth to take on North Crowley. This is a big game. Of course, North Crowley beat them on their turf last year in a back-and-forth affair. But this year it's going to be a little different. Both teams are coming in. Of course, North Crowley with a win. DeSoto's going to be licking their wounds coming off a loss. This is going to be a big game over in the Fort Worth area, over at Crowley ISD Stadium. Definitely a game that we're going to have our eye on here at the Platform DFW. Two teams that will be vying for 6A supremacy. But this is a non-district game. And I know that these guys from DeSoto will be ready. Don't look at that loss as something that's going to derail their season, because it's just one loss. It's not a district game. It's a game that they lost on the road. They traveled hours away. But, hey, shout out to Creekside for doing it. I saw some of the film, big-time running performance by their running back. Shout out to the coaches that did a great job of bouncing back. I got it on very good authority from one of our guys down in Georgia that this Creekside team is looking to make a state run. So shout out to Creekside as they get the victory. Another big game this week is Aledo taking on Lancaster. Of course, Aledo got the big victory over Denton Guyer, but Lancaster's going to be kind of ready to get back after it after a tough loss against North Crowley. Now, the Lancaster Tigers have two of the best running backs in the DFW area in Isaiah Lee and also Victor Scott. Those guys look to kind of get loose and get ready to get to pound the rock for Lancaster. Coach Paul had those guys playing well. There was a great game plan. Joseph Harrison, the quarterback, played good as well. He's a guy that's going to be setting the pace for those guys up front from the quarterback position. And the up front play in the trenches was very, very good for Lancaster as well. I think that's going to be a game that people are not going to be talking about as well. But before we get out of here, the last game that we'll be looking at next week coming up is Duncanville and South Oak Cliff. This game will be at Choctaw Stadium in Arlington. It'll be a Friday kickoff. Of course, this will be the first game for the Duncanville Panthers, who were off this week, but they have one of the best defenses that you're going to find in the DFW area. You got Florida commit KJ Ford. You also have Ole Miss commit in Landon Barnes, SMU commit Braylon Edwards as well, that set the tone for that defense. As well as, one of the Hall of Fame coaches in the state of Texas, and Reginald Samples. Best believe they'll have these guys ready to play. But on the other side, you got one of the most battle-tested programs and coaching staffs and players in the South Oak Cliff Golden Bears. Brian Swanson, Cortavius Tasby set the tone, as well as Bryson Brooks set the tone on the offensive line for the South Oak Cliff Bears. This is going to be a physical contest, and definitely one game we have to pull up on coming out of DFW. We'll be in the building for this one. This is going to be a monumental matchup. South Oak Cliff, I think, has the chance to upset the Panthers. I like South Oak Cliff in this game because they have the physicality to match the Duncanville Panthers in the trenches. I think this is going to be a game that comes down to who has the opportunity to have no turnovers. The less mistakes that they make, the better they are. Of course, we had a chance to see Jaden Williams last week, and I think he's ready to take that next step as a quarterback. He's only a junior, so the Golden Bears will have him for 2 more years. This is going to be one of the better matchups in the DFW area, and we're definitely going to be primed and ready to go, and the platform's going to pull up. We're all about exposing the unexposed here with the Platform Podcast Network, and I am the host, Mark Henry, here of the Platform DFW Podcast. But listen, man, go to DR Sports as well. The schedule's out for the 707 season, man. Tap in. Of course, you know what we do on the 707 space with the platform is expose the unexposed. Come and pull up. Get the exposure that you need to head into the next season. But the schedule is out, man. Check out DR Sports with the Z.com and definitely the DR Sports Twitter and the DR Sports Instagram, as well as the platform Instagram, which is the platform.dr. Definitely check out the platform.dr.com as we head into the season, man. All around the country, from Florida to the Midwest, to Georgia, to Louisiana, Houston, Central Texas. We got you covered here on the Platform Podcast Network. I'm your host of the DFW show. We will be at a game pulling up on the sideline next week. We'll keep you informed. Follow us on Twitter, man, for highlights and updates. And definitely follow us on the platform, dr.com, for the latest articles and news going on around the country as we bring it to you on the Platform Podcast Network. I'm your host, Mark Henry. We'll tap in with you next week here on the Platform DFW Podcast.